on SI and CI. Before we proceed into the video, I want you to like this video, share this video amongst your friends, and also subscribe to our channel for all CAT related information as well as the videos on the previous year questions. So in today's session, I'll be discussing the concepts of SICI, wherein I've also brought in the previous 5-year questions of SI and CI, and we'll also be discussing how to attack each and every question in a very simplified manner so that we should be able to solve these questions in the time limit in the examination. Now, why is this topic important? Because as you see from the table that almost every year there has been one question coming up from this topic in the examination, and more importantly, the questions from these topics are not that difficult. So SICI is a very small chapter with limited formulas, as well as it becomes very easy for us to understand the questions and also solve them within the time limit. So let's look at those questions in today's session and start the session now. Now, what is in simple interest? Now, in simple interest, these are the basic formulas that I need to keep in mind. The formula to calculate simple interest is nothing but P into T into R by 100, where P is nothing but the principal, T is the time period in years, and R is the rate of interest that is in percentage given to us, right? And generally this is per annum, okay? Per annum is what we are calculating. Now, what is the amount part here? The amount that we should calculate is always principal plus interest. Now, there's something that I'm introducing a new term, which is effective rate of interest. Now, what is effective rate of interest? Now, suppose I'm giving you a 10% interest, simple interest, for 3 years. So, what I can do is I can directly say that the effective rate of interest is 30% on the principal, which is nothing but 10 into 3 divided by 100. So effective rate of interest helps us to directly calculate in one shot and get the answers, right? And one more important point that we need to understand in simple interest is, in simple interest, the interest remains constant throughout the time period, right? So let's get into the questions with simple interest now. Now the first question here we have is from 2022 slot 1. Alex invested his savings in 2 parts, okay? The simple interest earned on the first part at 15% per annum for 4 years is same as the simple interest earned on the second part at 12% per annum for 3 years. And I'm not given the parts here. So let me assume the first part is X. So simple interest earned is P into T into R by 100. Clear? Is same as, I do not know the second principle, let's say that is Y, P into T into R divided by 100. So this 100 and this 100 gets cancelled. This is 3 ones are, 3 fives are, this is 4 ones are, this is 4 threes are. So what do I get from here? We get the value of X by Y is equal to 3 is to 5. Or I can take the value of X is equal to 3K and the value of Y is equal to 5K. Now what is the question asking us? The question is asking us the percentage of his savings invested in second part. So what is his total savings? So total savings is X plus Y, which is equal to 8K. Now percentage of savings invested in first part. The first part is 3K. So therefore all I'm looking at is 3K divided by 8K multiplied by 100. And 3 by 8 as a percentage we know is going to be nothing but 37.5%. And therefore option 2 becomes our required answer. So you can see how easy the question was in the last year's CAT exam from simple interest altogether. Now let's look at this question. Now again in CAT 22 slot 2 we had this question. Mr. Pinto invests 1/5 of his capital at 6% per annum. So 1 by 5 is invested of the total capital, okay. Similarly 1/3 at 10% per annum. So again 1/3 of the total capital is invested at 10% per annum. And the remaining is invested at 1%, each being simple interest per annum, okay. So since the denominator is 5 and denominator is 3 here, what I would rather do is, I would rather assume the total principal or capital to be an LCM of 5 and 3, which is nothing but let's say 15x. I repeat, LCM of 5, 3. Now let's look at this. So 1/5 of 15, 1/5 of 15 will give me 3x. 1/3 of 15 will give me 5x. 3x plus 5x is already done. That means remaining part is going to be how much? 7x. So this is invested at 6 percentage, this is invested at 10 percentage, and this is invested at 1 percentage. Now the question is asking the minimum number of years required for the cumulative interest income from these investments to equal or exceed the initial capital. Okay. So I do not know for how many years. Let's say 6 percentage of 3x for t years is the interest from here. Plus this becomes 5x into 10 into t divided by 100, PTR by 100. Plus this becomes 7x into 1 into t divided by 100. Now this whole thing should be minimum, those investments to be equal to or exceeding the capital. So greater than or equal to 15x is what we want. So this x can be taken common. So x from the left hand side will get cancelled from the right hand side. We can take a t common here. So what do we get here? We get 6t by 100. Sorry, 6 into 3, that is 18t by 100. Plus this will give me 50t by 100. Plus this will give me 7t by, sorry, t is again common. So this is 15, 18 by 100, 50 by 100, and 7 by 100. T is already taken common. And this whole should be greater than or equal to 15. So what do we get? 18 plus 68, 75. So we get 75 into t should be greater than or equal to 1500. I know that 75 into 20 is going to be 1500, or the value of t should be greater than or equal to 20. Now what is the question asking us? The question is asking the minimum time frame. So the minimum time frame here should be 20 years for the total income to be equal to or exceeding the initial capital. So this was a very simple question, excluding the part that it was a bit calculation intensive. Now Neetu has an initial capital of 20,000, out of which she invests 8,000 at 5.5 percentage in a bank. Okay. So we are investing 8,000 at an interest of 5.5. Then 5,000 is invested at 5.6 percentage per annum. And the remaining, so total amount is 28 plus 5 is 13. That means the remaining 7,000 is invested at X percentage per annum. Her combined annual interest income from these investments is equal to 5 percentage of initial capital. So it's a very simple question here, guys. So we can look at this as 5.5 percentage of 8,000 plus 5.6 percentage of 5,000 plus X percentage of 7,000 is the total interest earned, and as per the question this is equal to 5 percentage of the initial capital, and the initial capital was how much? 20,000 rupees. This is what we are simplifiably calculating because it's only for 1 year, right? So what is the question asking us? Then her, if she had invested the entire, okay, we'll come back to that later. So 0000 gets cancelled. So 80 into 5.5 is 440. Plus 00 and 00 gets cancelled. 5 into 50 is 250. Plus 5 6 are 30. 250 plus 30 is going to be 280. Plus 70x is equal to 0000 gets cancelled. 5 into 200 is going to be 1000. So this is going to be 720. So 720. So 70x is equal to 1000 minus 720. Or we get 70x is equal to 280. Or the value of x is equal to 4. Fair enough. We have the value of x is equal to 4. Now, if she had invested her entire capital in bank C, that means she had invested her entire 20,000 at 4 percentage per annum for 1 year, then her interest would have been 0000 gets cancelled. 4 into 200 is going to be 800, and therefore 800 becomes our final answer, which is option D. So last year in all the 3 questions, in all the 3 slots, we had seen a single question coming up from simple interest, and the questions were very simple here. Right? So let's look at the next question here. Now Viru invested 10,000 at 5% per annum simple interest, and exactly after 2 years, Joy invested 8,000 at 10% per annum Annual interest. How many years after Viru's investment will their balances, that is principal plus the accumulated interest, be equal? Now, principal plus accumulated interest is nothing but the amount part. And amount, there are two ways of calculating. Either we are looking at principal plus interest, or if I want to use formula directly, then this becomes 1 plus effective rate of interest divided by 100 of the principal. How does that work? Let's understand this. If this is principal and I'm investing P into 5 into P into 5 into R, that is P into 5 into T. This is 5 percentage, right? So let's directly calculate this. 1 second. Yeah. So principal plus accumulated interest. Now I do not know after how many years. Let's say after X years from Joy invested. Okay, I repeat, X years from Joy invested. So Viru's investment was 10,000 plus 10,000 into 5 into X plus 2, because Viru's investment was invested for 2 more years, PTR divided by 100. Clear? I want both their balances to be equal. This should be equal to 8,000 plus 8,000 into 10 into X years divided by 100. Clear? After how many years after Viru's investment? So do not forget, our final answer has to be X plus 2 years after Viru's investment is what we are calculating. So let's simplify this first here. So 0000 gets cancelled. This 00 and 00 gets cancelled. So this becomes 10,000 plus 500 into X will give us 500X. And 500 into 2 will give us 1000 is equal to, clear? So this is 8,000 plus 80 into 10 is 800, and this is going to give us 800X. So this is 11,000 minus 8,000, which will give me 3,000 is equal to 300X. Or we know that the value of X is equal to 10. I repeat, we want the value of X plus 2. So therefore the answer here becomes 10 plus 2, which is after 12 years we are looking at their interest plus principal value should be equal. Clear? Let's look at the next question here. Now a person invested 15 lakhs, a total amount of 15 lakhs. A part of it was invested in fixed deposit at 6% per annum. Okay. So we have 15 lakhs. A part of it was at 6% per annum. The remaining amount was in two ratios of 2:1 at 4% per annum and 3% per annum. So since the ratio was 2:1, let me take this as 2x, let me take this as x. That means this total part is 3x. That means this part becomes 15 lakhs minus 3x. Clear? So if the total interest income is 76,000, so again a very simple question. So total interest income here becomes P into, let us write 15 lakhs minus 3x. Clear? For how many years is the question talking about? Annual interest amount for 2 deposits. That's it. So that means annual interest income. So for 1 year into 1 divided by 100 plus 4 into 2x into 1 divided by 100 plus 3 into x into 1 divided by 100. Now this total should be equal to 76,000. Okay, so 6 into 15 will give us how much, guys? 90 lakhs. 91, 2, 3, 4, 5. Minus 6 threes will give us 18x. Plus this will give us 8x. Plus this will give us 3x. And this 100 when multiplied will give me 76 lakhs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when I subtract these two, what do we get here? We get 14 lakhs is equal to, this is 11. 11 and 8 is 7. That will give me 7x. Or the value of x is equal to 2 lakhs. So we got the value of x is equal to 2 lakhs. Now how much amount was invested in fixed deposit? That is 6% per annum, which is 15 lakhs minus 3 into 2 lakhs, which is going to be 15 lakhs minus 3 twos are 6 lakhs. That means a total of 9 lakhs was invested in fixed deposit and therefore the answer is asking you in rupees lakhs. So therefore our answer in this question becomes 9 for that matter. Clear? Let's move to the next one. Now, in this question, I'm talking about Raj invested rupees 10,000 in a fund. At the end of the year, he incurred a loss of X percentage or some percentage, but his balance was more than 5,000. So, if loss of X percentage was there and there's a balance of more than 5,000, so 5,000 of 10,000 is 50 percentage. That means the value of X should be less than 50 percentage, because the loss is less than 5,000. I repeat, since the balance is more than 5,000, the loss value is less than 5,000. And less than 5,000 upon 10,000, which means the loss is less than 5,000 upon 10,000 into 100, which will give me that the loss is less than 15 percentage. This balance money, that means I can look at it as a percentage point of view, that from 10,000, some X percentage is gone. So what is the balance left? That is 10,000 into 1 minus X by 100. Now this balance amount grew, and the percentage growth in the second year was 5 times the percentage loss in the first year. That means now this amount would become 1 plus 5x by 100 becomes a multiplying factor. And now the question is saying that the investment grew over 35 percentage. That means this becomes 1 plus 35 by 100 of 10,000. So practically, if you observe, 10,000 does not play a very important role. Now all I have to do is I have to multiply this. So this becomes 1 plus 5x by 100 minus x by 100 minus 5x square by 100 is equal to 1 plus 35 by 100. So 1 and 1 gets cancelled. This 100 and 100 gets cancelled. So what do we have now finally? So we have this is, so bringing on the right hand side, this becomes 5x square. Yep, 5x square, and this becomes minus 4x plus 35. Clear? Plus 35 is equal to 0. Clear? Or can we simplify this further? Okay, let's keep it like this. So 35 into 5. So 35 into 5 will give me 150 plus 25, that is 175. And I want two such numbers whose gap is 4. So 175 can be written as 1 into 175, or this can be written as 3 into something. 8 plus 5, 13. No. This can be written as 5 into 35. Clear? Or this can be written as 7 into 25. Clear? So the overall investment grew by 35. Did I go wrong somewhere? Just one second, guys. 5x minus x will give me 4x. 4x on the right hand side will give me minus 4x. This is 5x square. Sorry, I just messed up here. One second, guys. So this part will be not 100. This part will be 100 square. Just one second. Okay. So when I multiply them, this part becomes 1, 2, 3, 4. 100 into 100, right? And this will give me 1 plus 35 by 100. So 1 and 1 gets cancelled. So this is eventually coming out to be 4x by 100 minus, this can be written as x square by 5 2s are 10, 2000, which is equal to 35 by 100. So what we can do is we can cancel double zeros, double zeros, double zeros across. So we have a 20 left. So this becomes how much? 80x minus x square is equal to 700. Clear? Or we have x square minus 80x plus 700 is equal to 0. So this can be as 7 and 10, that is x square minus 70x minus 10x plus 700 is equal to 0. So we have x minus 70 into x minus 10 is equal to 0. So what is the possible value of x? Either 10 or 70. Now we already discussed that the value of x should be less than 50%. That means 70 will not work, and therefore percentage of loss in the first year is always going to be 10%. Clear? So that should be your final answer. So just a bit of calculation that we have to be a little careful about. Now let's move to compound interest. What do we need to keep in mind in compound interest? So amount is equal to P into 1 plus R whole to the power n when compounded annually. If I am compounding k times a year, that means half yearly is 2 times a year. Quarterly is 4 times a year. In that case, that becomes R by k into 100, and this becomes k to the power n, k into n. And interest is amount minus principal. Now this we should keep in mind. Ci of n plus 1th year minus Ci of nth year is equal to R percentage of Ci of nth year. And amount at the end of n plus 1th year minus amount at the end of nth year is equal to R percentage of amount at the end of nth year. Now here, I would like to bring your attention to effective rate of interest. Now suppose I tell you that I'm compounding 5% for 2 years. And the question is talking about only compound interest. So we can use A plus B plus AB by 100, that successive percentage change formula, to calculate effective rate of interest. So we can write 5 plus 5 plus 5 into 5, 25 by 100, which means 10.25% is one time calculation effective interest that I can do on my principal instead of applying the amounts formula and then subtracting and getting my interest. So in compound interest, especially when 2 years is given, effective rate of interest can always be calculated on these lines, especially when the question is talking about compound interest, because this formula gives me the formula for calculating amount. Clear? Now, the two more formulas we need to keep in mind are difference between SI and CI at the end of 2 years, that is P into R square by 100 square, and difference between SI and CI after 3 years is 3 into PR square by 100 square plus PR cube by 100 cube. Right, now let's get into the questions here. Now Gopal borrows rupees X from Ankit at annual interest. Okay, he then adds Y rupees of his own and lends X plus Y to Ishan at 10% annual interest. Okay, so he borrows X rupees at 8% and he adds Y rupees. Okay, so let's write it as this way. So he is borrowing X. We're talking about Gopal. Gopal is borrowing X and lending X plus Y. So borrowing X from Ankit and lending it to Ishan. Is borrowing at 8% per annum and lending at 10% per annum. At the end of the year, now mind you, in compound interest or simple interest, if I'm talking about 1 year, the calculation is not different at all. Okay. After returning Ankit's dues, the net interest retained by Gopal. So what is the net interest retained by Gopal? He is collecting 10% of X plus Y and is giving 8% of X. Now this is the net interest that is left, is same as that accrued to Ankit. Now what did Ankit get? Ankit get 8%. Ankit got 8% of X. So you can cancel 100 across. So what do we have here? So we have 10x plus 10y minus 8x is equal to 8x. Or this is 2x, 2x goes on the other side, that becomes 10y is equal to 6x. Or we have x by y is equal to 5 by 3. So let us take this as 5k and 3k. Okay, so this is the value of x and y. Now what is the question asking you? On the other hand, had Gopal lent x plus 2y to Ishan, okay, so now he would have collected 10% of x plus 2y. Now x is 5k and 2y is 2 into 3k, that is 6k. And he would have given this guy 8% of 5k. Then his interest accrued would have increased by 150. That is going to be 8% of 5k plus 150. So if I take 100 as the LCM here, let us take 100 as the LCM here. So this becomes 00. Now this 100 and this 100 gets cancelled. So 10 into 11k becomes 110k. Minus 8 fives are, this becomes 40k, which is equal to 8 fives are, that is 40k plus 15,000. So 40 and 40, that is 80k. So eventually this becomes 30k is equal to 15,000. 0, 0 gets cancelled. 3 ones are 3 500s are. So that means the value of k is equal to 500. Now what is the question asking us? The question asking us find the value of x plus y. So the value of x plus y is equal to 5k plus 3k, which is going to be 8k, which is finally going to be 8 into 500, and that is going to be 4000 is going to be the final value of x plus y in this question. Right? So it's a very simple question. If 1 year is in place, then the calculation of simple interest and compound interest does not change, and that is how we should be attacking these questions. Right? For the same principal amount, the compound interest for 2 years, I repeat, the question is talking about compound interest for 2 years at 5% per annum. So compound interest for 2 years becomes 5 plus 5 plus 5 into 5 by 100, which means the compound interest part becomes 10.25 percentage is the compound interest part, exceeds the simple interest for 3 years by 3 percentage per annum. So simple interest for 3 years, that is effective rate of interest, becomes 3 into 3, that is 9 percentage. So what am I actually looking at? 10.25 percentage of the principal minus 9 percentage of the principal is equal to 1125 rupees. So effectively what do I get here, guys? I get 1.25 percentage of the principal is equal to 1125. So let's bring two more zeros on the bottom. So this becomes 25 fives are 25 fours are. This is 5 ones are. Let's cancel this. 5 twos are 10. Again 5 225s are. So 225 into 4 will give us 900. 900 into 100. That means the value of principal is going to be 90,000 should be our final answer. Right guys, so very simple question. This is where we apply effective rate of interest. Most of the cases the examiner gives you 2 years. This becomes a very beautiful manner. Instead of taking amount is equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 whole square minus P, that will create a lot of trouble, and that should be your final answer. So remember, use effective rate of interest when the question is talking about compound interest per se. We use the formula when the question is talking about the amount. Clear? So that becomes a strategic point to attack the questions in simple interest and compound interest. Right? A person invested a certain amount of money at 10% per annum annual interest compounded half yearly. Right? That means 5% every 6 months. Right? Or we can directly apply the formula. After 1.5 years, the interest plus principal together. That means the question is talking about amount. As I told you, if the question is talking about amount, let's apply the formula. Clear? So what is the formula? P into 1 plus R by 2. That becomes 10 by 2 divided by 100 whole to the power 2 into 1.5. Now this value is equal to 18522. So this becomes 1 plus 5 by 100. So which becomes P into 105 by 100 whole cube is equal to 18522. Or we get 105 by 100 into 105 by 100 into 105 by 100 into P is equal to 18522. Now what is 105 by 100? That is 21 by 20. This is also going to be 21 by 20. And this is also going to be 21 by 20. Let's cancel by 21. 21 into 7. 21 into 8, sorry. 21 into 8 will give you 168. 21 into 9 will give you 189. That doesn't go. So 168. Clear? If I take 168, I have 172 left. Again, 21 into 8 is going to be 168. We have 42 left. 21 into 2. 21 4s are 84. 42 left. 21 2s are. 21 1s are 21 2s are. So finally, the amount of principal is equal to 20 into 20 into 20. That is 8,000. 8,000 into 2. And therefore, the value of the principal finally is going to be 16,000. So very simple question. I repeat, when the question is talking about amount, we use the formula. When the question is talking about compound interest, we use effective rate of interest. Let's look at this question. So Amal invests rupees 12,000 at 8% compounded annually, rupees 10,000 at 6% compounded semi-annually, both invested for 1 year. Clear? Right? Now Bimal invests rupees 7.5 percentage simple interest for 1 year. Now all of them get the same amount of interest. Now the question is talking about interest. Clear? So what we can do here is effectively, let's calculate effective rate of interest here. So 6 percentage means 3% for half year, another 3% for half year, 3 plus 3 plus 3 into 3 divided by 100, which will give me 6.09 percentage. So what is happening is calculating 8 percentage of 12,000 plus is calculating 6.09 percentage of 10,000. Clear? I do not know how much is Bimal investing. Let's say that is B, and that is 7.5 percentage for 1 year. So PTR by 100 is this much. So this becomes a very simple way of attacking, guys. So if I take out this decimal, I multiply with 100 in the denominator. So this 10,000, 10,000 gets cancelled. This 0000 gets cancelled. 8 into 120 is 960 plus 609 is equal to B into, let's say, 75 by 1000. Now this is 25 threes are 25 40s. So 960 plus 609 will give me 1569 into 40 divided by 3 should be the value of B. And this becomes 523. So 4 threes are 12, 2 I carry 1, that is 9, and 5 fours is 20. And therefore the amount invested by Bimal is going to be 20920 rupees is the final amount that is invested by Bimal. Right, let's move to the next question here. Now Bank A offers 6% rate of interest per annum compounded half yearly. Bank B and C offer simple interest, but annual rate of interest of Bank C is twice that of Bank B. Okay, so we're talking about Bank A, Bank B, Bank C, and we're talking about 1 year. And the question is talking about the interest accrued. If you observe the interest that would accrue. So let's simplify. 6% per annum half yearly is 6.09 percentage per annum yearly, as we calculated in the previous question. So Bank A gives me 6.09 percentage yearly. We have Bank B and we have Bank C. And Bank C is twice of Bank B. So if Bank B is X, then Bank C is equal to 2X. Raju invests a certain amount in Bank B for a certain period, and Rupa invests a certain amount. I do not know what is the principal invested. And Rupa invests 10,000 in Bank C for twice the time period. So if this is T, this becomes 2T. Clear? The interest that would accrue to Raju that period is equal to, so Bank B and Bank C are simple interest, and this is compound interest, but doesn't matter since it's only for 1 year, is that would accrue had he invested the same amount in Bank A for 1 year. Okay, so what am I looking at? So X into P into T by 100 is equal to 6.09 into P divided by 100. So 100 gets cancelled, PP gets cancelled. So eventually what do we have? We have XT is equal to 6.09. Let's keep it as it is. Now what is the question asking us? The interest accrued to Rupa. Now what is the interest accrued to Rupa? That is 2X into 10,000 into 2T divided by 100. So this 0000 gets cancelled. So this becomes 4x or 400 xt. Now xt is, so we can replace xt, that becomes 400 into 609 divided by 100. 0000 gets cancelled. So 4 9s are 36, 4 6 are 24. So our final value here becomes 2436, and that becomes the final answer of this question. Again, look at it. If the question is targeting the rate of interest, then it's always advisable to look at the effective rate of interest and get the final answer rather than applying the formula here. Clear? Now let's look at this. So Anil invests some amount of money at fixed rate of interest compounded annually. If the interest accrued during second year and third year, so we can apply the formula here. So CI of third year minus CI of second year is equal to R percentage of CI of second year. Clear? So that gives me 866.72 minus 806.25 is equal to R percentage of 806.25. So if you use the calculator directly here, we will get the value of R is equal to 7.5 percentage. Now interest accrued during fourth year. Now we should also remember, if I look at the same way, so CI of fourth year will always be CI of third year plus R percentage of CI of third year. Clear? So that becomes how much, guys? So if you again use the calculator and apply, you will be getting the final answer as 931.72. Do not hesitate using the calculator because the numbers are weird. So let's not waste time, especially in these kind of questions when we are given the calculator. So you can remember these things because if you transpose this only, the formula is simple. CI of n plus 1th year minus CI of nth year is equal to R percentage of CI of nth year, which can also be transposed as CI of n plus 1th year is equal to CI of nth year plus R percentage of CI of nth year. So both the formulas can be used interchangeably and then get the final answer. Right? So let's look at this question on installments. So John borrowed 2,10,000 rupees from a bank at the rate of 10% per annum, compounded annually. So amount borrowed was 2,10,000. So this was principal. What is the interest? Or this is the amount, okay? Amount borrowed. So interest for the first year is 21,000. So sorry, this is the principal. So what is the amount here? The amount here becomes 2,31,000. And it's repaying in two equal installments. So let's say the first installment is equal to X rupees. So the effective amount for the second year or the principal for the second year becomes 2,31,000 minus X. Clear? And there's an interest of 10%. That means the amount here becomes 1.1 into 2,31,000 minus X. And I'm paying an installment and this finally becomes equal to, and this finally repays my loan. So this is equal to this. So what do we have here? So we have 1.1 into 2,31,000 minus 2.1x is equal to 0. Or we have 1.1 into 2,31,000 is equal to 2.1x, or the value of x is finally going to be how much? 1,21,000 should be the value of each installment. Now if you want the formula for installments, there's a simple formula of installments that the amount borrowed, okay, the present value of the money, which is the amount borrowed, is equal to installment divided by 1 plus r by 100 whole to the power n plus again I by 1 plus r by 100 whole to the power n minus 1 and so on, so on, so on. So in this case what we could have also done is we could have written 2,10,000 is equal to x divided by 1.1 whole square plus again x divided by 1.1. So if you simplify this, even here you get the value of x as 1,21,000. Okay guys, so that's it from this video. So I hope you learned all the concepts and how to apply the formulas, and most important thing to learn here was how to use effective rate of interest, especially in compound interest, because students struggle a lot when it comes to compound interest. Right guys, so I would again like you to share the video amongst your friends who are struggling in this topic or who are preparing for CAT to make the most of them. Thank you guys.